In my last sniping guide video, I went over some of the basic mechanics that can help increase your skill as a sniper, as well as increasing your KD ratio. After I made that video, I went back and analyzed some footage of some of the best snipers in the game and took note of some of the things that make them the best of the best. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Man of Cole, and today, here is your advanced sniping guide. If this is your first time here, my name is Man of Cole, and I make weekly Destiny videos just like this one. Anything from build guides to PvP tips and strategies. I try to make content that helps answer questions that you all have. So if you've got any questions or ideas that you'd like to see turn into a video, let me know down in the comments and I'll be sure to put it together. All right, so to recap my previous sniping guide video, which will be in the top right of your screen right now if you want to check it out, there were 4 points that I covered that can help anyone increase their KD as well as increase their skill with a sniper. The first thing I talked about was positioning on the map. This is the #1 thing that will separate an average sniper from a good sniper. The second thing I talked about was crosshair placement, always having your crosshair at head level at all times. The third was to never peek the same angle twice in a row. As tempting as it can be to re-peek an angle to assure a kill, against a good sniper, you will lose more of those battles than you will win. Make sure you change your locations and your angles for every shot. And the last pointer was very simple, yet ultimately probably the most effective, and that is to practice a lot. The more you practice and play, the more comfortable you will be not only with sniping, but with your sensitivity, your movement, and where the hotspots are on the map. So let's get into my first advanced sniping tip, sliding into your shots. This is something that almost every top tier player does, even if they aren't using a sniper. Sliding into your shot or sliding into angles where you anticipate a player to be is a very effective way of creating an off angle that another player may not be expecting. When sliding, you still have the same accuracy as if you were to just walk around a corner. Unlike when you're in the air, you lose some of that reticle placement accuracy. Sliding allows you to be the aggressor in an engagement and can oftentimes mean that you are creating the engagements and forcing your opponent to react to you rather than you reacting to your opponent's every move. Another side tip I wanted to mention regarding sliding, because I feel these kind of go hand in hand, is to use some kind of ability after you shoot. So, hypothetical situation here, you are on the map Endless Vale and you are approaching the middle part of the map where there always seems to be someone at the other end looking through their sniper scope. You take the engagement by first sliding, thus creating that off angle for your opponent, while also forcing them to react to you. Next, you shoot your shot. Now, whether you miss or not, your next thought needs to be, get out of there. Because if you are facing a good team, there will more than likely be more than that one person in the vicinity, which means as soon as you shoot, you need to do something to escape that angle. For Warlocks and Hunters, your best tool here is to dodge or Icarus dash back into cover. This is such an important tool to use for any type of engagement, especially if you are utilizing it as much as you can. You become very elusive and extremely difficult to kill. Titans, I'll be honest, it might be a little harder for you to perform this, but my advice would be to follow up with a grenade or to just simply try and slide back into cover. It's not fancy, but then again, is anything Titans do fancy? They just punch stuff, right? The next tip is something that took me a while to process when I first started sniping back in Destiny 1. And that is that you don't always have to hit headshots. I know some of you may be thinking or even actively saying, it doesn't take skill to double body shot someone. To which I will say this, the game doesn't care whether you headshot someone or body shot someone or super someone. If the game registers you killing an opponent, then that's it. There's no asterisk next to it because you body shot them, nor is there a gold star next to it because you got a headshot kill. Do what you can to kill your opponents, and by whatever means it takes to kill them. And if it means to double body shot someone, then so be it. In fact, I've got a great example of this. However, it's not my own content. In the time I was researching some of the best snipers in the game, I came across a video on Panda's YouTube channel. If you don't know who Panda is, he is widely considered as one of, if not the best PvP players and snipers in the entire game. In this video I saw he was 1v1ing one of his clanmates, Mikowski. This video was more so just the actual gameplay and commentary between the two of them while they were playing. But during this 1v1, they actually talked a lot about some of the decisions they were making when trying to snipe against one another, and to be honest, I actually learned a lot from listening and watching them play against each other. If you're serious about wanting to take your sniping to the next level, check out that video. I think you'll find some nuggets in there that can help you. I'll put a link to it in the description below. The next tip we will go over today is learning to bait enemies into your line of sight. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what it means to bait someone, it's quite simple. Much like when you bait a trap when you're hunting or when you put bait on a fishing hook, when you bait in gaming, you are trying to coerce your opponent into a trap, which makes it seem like they have a chance at killing you, but in reality, you're forcing them directly into your line of sight where you can get an easy kill. Now, the key word here is enemies. Do not mistake this tip for baiting your teammates. Don't be that guy. Although there are times where baiting your teammates can be effective if you are on the same page as your teammates. Otherwise, this is a very quick way of having to find new teammates to play with. I am again going to reference this 1v1 video between Panda and Mikowski. At different points throughout the video, they actually talk about baiting each other into different angles in order to kill one another. In fact, a really good example of this is within the first 2 minutes of the video. Panda actually ends up getting Mikowski down to 1 HP, which forces Mikowski to retreat farther back, almost off the radar completely. But by doing this, Mikowski knew Panda was going to try and rush him to finish him off, since Panda knew he was almost dead. But Mikowski did a great job of creating an angle that allowed him to scope in on Panda as soon as he rounded the corner to try and kill him, and ultimately doing just that. A great example of baiting an enemy. Next, let's talk about creating vertical engagements. This is another thing that was talked about in the 1v1 video that I had never really comprehended as a sniper. Destiny is so unique in that not only is there a boots on the ground aspect to the game, but also a lot of potential for vertical gameplay as well. From floating warlocks and skating titans to double jumping hunters, you kinda experience it all in the Crucible. One way you can create a vertical engagement is by finding the high ground. On most maps, there are places where you can usually find some type of high ground that can give you an advantage by looking down at your opponent. By doing this, you are creating an off angle that some players might not be used to playing against. In a lot of scenarios, having the high ground usually means you have an advantage over someone that is lower, since you can usually see most of their character model, whereas if you are on the lower ground, you can usually only see part of the person's character model. Creating vertical engagements can really enhance your gameplay, and with the right team comp, can really limit your opponent's ability to take control of the map. This is also an extremely viable tactic when you are facing a sniper, but the approach is a little different. Again, in the 1v1 video, it's right around the 120 mark, there was a game where they were playing on Javelin 4, and Mikowski was positioned behind some cover, peeking with his sniper. And Panda recognized that Mikowski was holding an angle which was making it difficult for Panda to try and challenge because he knew Mikowski had the peeking advantage. So what Panda decided to do was create some verticality and push Mikowski as fast as he could with his primary, knowing that it would be difficult for him to quickly adjust to how fast Panda was able to change his verticality. They actually managed to comment on this during the video as well.
Oh, see, yeah, if you put that pressure on me with the primary.
Yeah. That's the best thing I can do against a sniper.
Yeah.
Creating vertical engagements in a game like Destiny is super advantageous. Practice it during some quick play sessions with your buddies, or maybe go into a private match to see which parts of the map allow for both vertical play and angles towards the hotspots on the map. You'll definitely start seeing some improvements. The last thing I wanted to talk about isn't necessarily a tip, but more so a reframe of your mindset. And it has to do with one of my favorite quotes of all time, and is a very popular one at that. The quote is by the legendary hockey player Wayne Gretzky. And he said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take," which is absolutely true. Not only is this a great quote to apply for everyday life, but in Destiny, it very much has the same effect. Just because you may only have 2 bullets in the magazine should not deter you from trying to create a nice shot. You will never hit a shot if you never shoot a shot. In other words, go all out. If you miss a shot, so what? You at least gave yourself a chance at doing something spectacular and helping out your team. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are chugging along towards that YouTube partnership requirement of 1,000 subscribers. If you yourself have any tips on sniping, please put them in the comments. We get lots of people sharing their knowledge of Destiny down there. Everyone's input is welcome. Links to all of my affiliate discounts as well as links to my socials are all in the description box below. Thank you all very much for watching. A positive rating is always appreciated. And as always, we'll see ya. His body just landed, dude. Oh my god.